Friends, please rise if you wish and join us in this morning's call to worship, modified from Emmanuel. Every once in a while, a miracle finds us, after looking for a heart in which to do what it is here to do. Every once in a while, we see it at work, wonder of wonders. Let the miracles into and out of our hearts, sharing the wonder of wonders, sharing the love of God from which all miracles come. Here, now, together, breathe. Friends, be seated. Friends, we welcome you, whether here in person or online, to Sayville Congregational United Church of Christ. We are grateful you have chosen to be with us today, bringing your presence to this sacred time we share. Thank you. Today, we ask that you join us in this deep piece of our faith, lifting the world with the hope, love, and compassion embodied in us as God's power to truly bring peace to one another. We worship to add our hearts and inspiration to a world at a prayer each and every day. Please review the announcements in the bulletin insert. Are there any announcements that need to be made at this time that are not in the insert? Okay, thank you. Now please rise if you wish and join us in singing O God of Love, God of Peace, hymn number 571 in the New Century Hymnal.
O God of love, O God of peace, make wars throughout the world to cease. The wrath of human wrong is harm and pain. Give peace, O God, give peace again. Whom shall we trust, O God, but you? For you are constant, strong, and true. None ever called on you in vain. Give peace, O God, give peace again.
Please be seated and join us in praying this morning's unison prayer. Eternal One, whose thoughts and ways are not ours, you alone are God, awesome, holy, most high God. School us in our growing faith and wisdom. Help us to truly see and hear you. In the peace we seek, the peace we practice, in your quiet voice, turn all hearts toward you, beginning with our own. Friends, be assured that God's love surrounds us. Look around. See that assurance in your friends and loved ones here. You see God and God's love here as we pray for God's breath, God's inspiration that drives out violence and breathes in compassion and the courage for peace around the globe, a mighty assurance that we are not alone, nor are we lost. Now will you please rise if you wish? With these words in mind and our hearts aflame and inspired for the ways to peace, may the peace of the risen Christ be with you and also with you. Let us offer one another a sign of peace. Friends, please be seated and join us in singing our next hymn, Why, hymn number 47 in your Sing, Prayer, and Praise hymnal.
Why must our terrible anguish seem endless? What can diminish our sense of despair? Where is our refuge when hatred consumes us? Who will deliver us? Welcome each prayer. Come, gracious God, bring peace to each mind, hope to each soul, love to each heart, that we may praise you day by day. Why is there suffering, chaos, and torture? What is the truth in a world without sense? Where is the wisdom that leads to discernment? Who will encourage us, be our defense? Come, Jesus Christ, bring justice for all, truth to our lips, strength to our hands, that we may follow you day by day. Why do we fail to see God in our struggles? What is the covenant promise of old? Where are the prophets to witness for justice? Who will empower us, making us bold? Come, Holy Spirit, breath to each dream, movement to stone, wings to each prayer, that we may
Friends, we now invite you to share your joys, celebrations, and concerns. Please wait for the microphone and respond with, "God, hear our prayers."
Prayers for the family of our good friend Jim Flynn, who passed away recently, particularly for his husband Bill. He's a work colleague of mine and was very close to Judy and I and our 3 daughters.
God, hear
our prayers.
Prayers for my brother-in-law, John, who is in intensive care after surgery with a pulmonary embolism now. And prayers for our friend Tim, who is in ICU with obstructive pneumonia.
God, hear our prayers.
Prayers for my son-in-law, Craig and Leslie, and our families on the death of Craig's brother, Scott.
God, hear our prayers.
Prayers to the violence that's happening in Israel, where Jews and Palestinians are killing each other in madness. I wish that one day there would be peace, there would be a separate country of Palestine and Israel, where the Middle East would be stable and not unstable, where hate on both sides is unjustified. And now some of the hate has come to this country. A 6-year-old Muslim boy was killed because he was Muslim. Now there's a woman who was president of a synagogue was murdered. Though I don't know if that was related to this. It could be. I hope not, but you never know. So,
God, hear our prayers.
George's prayers were answered. He got his clearance. Now we just need a date for his operation.
God, hear our prayers.
Continued prayers for my sister Mickey, who is suffering debilitating muscle loss due to cancer treatment.
God, hear our prayers.
Prayers for my grandparents celebrating 49 years of marriage today.
God, hear our prayers.
Prayers for a colleague of ours from Bayport, Eileen Grautzer, passed away recently. May she rest in peace.
God, hear our prayers.
Prayers for Darlene's sister, Carrie, and her children, Spencer and Aliana, who had to say goodbye to their dog Saturday.
God, hear our prayers.
And a welcome this morning to all our friends, members, visitors, and guests, including Sam, Sean's wife, and Sam's mom, Sandra. Yes, welcome. Nice to have you with us today. And so all of these prayers that we hold in our hearts, is it a wonder we can't come up with words for them all? It would be a lot. And so there is something that we have in who we are and the way we're created to embrace all of them, all the needs, without needing to know specifically what each one is. We share the ones we know, but we are still able to embrace all the others. The ones that have yet to form into words, the ones that are yet too painful to speak. And we know that in those prayers, in that time we take to stop and remember that prayer is a way that pause changes us, inspires us to action, and brings us into this world in a way on a daily basis with the kindness of a smile or the holding of a door for one that is behind us. Each one of those acts, each prayer, each thought in this world created by God as we understand God, each one of those is an act of peace and love. and kindness and compassion and trust.
Please remain seated and join us in praying the prayer of Jesus as you wish to pray. Our Creator, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Friends, please listen now for the meaning of these words in your heart as we recall these words from Mark's Gospel, chapter 9, verse 38 through 42 and 49 through 50. John said to Jesus, "Teacher, we saw someone using your name to expel demons, and we tried to stop it since this person was not part of our group." Jesus said in reply, "Don't try to stop it. No one who performs a miracle using my name can speak ill of me soon thereafter. Anyone who is not against us is with us. The truth is, anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name because you belong to the Messiah will certainly not go without a reward. Rather than make one of these little ones who believe in me stumble, it would be better to be thrown into the sea with a large millstone hung around your neck. Everyone will be salted with fire of the Holy Spirit. Salt is good, but if salt loses its flavor, how can you make it salty again? Have salt in yourselves and live in peace with one another."
Saves a wretch like me.
Last week, could we go back one, please, for a second? Last week, we created a graphic that includes those 4 flowers there. And those 4 flowers, one of them is the chamomile, the white one, which is the national flower of Russia. The other is the red coronaria, which is the national flower of Jerusalem. There is a third there, which is the sunflower, the helianth, I think is how you say it, which is the flower of Ukraine. And then the purple one, which is the iris, or the fuqua iris fuqua, which is the flower of Pakistan. And that is up there today frequently. Maybe for you, it's a reminder for me that this is what it looks like when we figure out how to live together in the garden as it was originally created to be. So I hope that image brings you some solace and some hope. I'm all over the place this morning for some reason. I do not know why. But the next slide I've already noticed is a little bit wonky. So could you just press that once for me, please, Karen? Let's see if it clears it up. Okay. Let's leave that one there. The slide that was before starts out with the line that Jesus begins with today in the reading. It says, what Mark tells us, that one of the disciples said, "Teacher, we saw someone using your name to expel demons, and we tried to stop them since they weren't a part of our group." Right? And I just have this feeling that Jesus looked at them quizzically and went, how long is this going to take? How can I help you to see what we've been trying to say and to teach? How can I help you to see how things work in God's world? So let me try to explain. Look, my friends, someone performs a miracle in my name, Jesus says. Does that hurt us or help us in what we're trying to do? Mario. It helps us. Thank you, Mario. It's a pretty basic thing. If you are doing what is causing good, what is helpful, compassionate, and kind, things happen in a way that reflects that garden in some way that has meaning to you. And if you do it in God's name, however you know God, well, it's got to be good, right? The question becomes, could we ever get everybody to speak the same language? Could we ever get everybody to believe the same tenets and dogma and creeds and teachings of all the different ways and people find a path to the God of their understanding? Could we ever make that into one universal language? What do you think? Well, maybe. But I don't think I'm going to understand all of the different religions and the ways that they practice what they do. But I do believe that deep underneath it all, there are core things. But part of the deal is what Jesus is saying. Keep it simple, Simon. If they're doing good stuff, then let it be good. If it's helping others, let it help. And you know what good is. You know what it is. It's clear. So keep it simple. And if someone is doing good, even if you can't help, even if you don't agree, don't work against them. Do your own good instead, not worrying about the good someone else is doing. Do your own good. And that will help everything. That will glorify God beyond your ability to understand. Okay? Simple, right? Uncomplicated, right? In fact, it's so simple that Mark tells us, according to Jesus, that even someone who gives a glass of water to someone in my name will be rewarded. A glass of water. That will glorify God. So when we withhold water, food, fuel for generators, medical care, could that ever be in God's name? Could that ever glorify God? And if not, then in whose name is it being done? And what does it glorify? And how is it good? Those are questions. Where you going? Where you going? Isabella, say hello. Hi. Hey. She's got a new word. Hey. Hey. You want to come up? Eh. Okay. You hang out. Yeah. Oh, okay. It is totally impossible not to be totally distracted by Isabella. Sorry, folks. It's just not going to happen. So these are the questions. These are the questions. Can you really do some of the things we're doing and say that this is good? The teachings of the gospel, the Bible, other sacred books, these teachings are always the same, deep in their core. Be kind. Be kind. Don't be afraid to be kind. Don't be afraid to be gentle. Don't be afraid of standing in the way of harm. And the Bible, interestingly enough, doesn't seem to be about eliminating these things. Here's a pro forma, here's how you eliminate it. Here's how you eliminate the things that are wrong. But instead, addressing our responses. Addressing our responses to things that happen that can help change to occur. Meaningful, helpful, good, and glorifying change. It's about teaching. Teaching us to love in the face of enormous, insurmountable, if not for God, odds. And again, however you understand God. And we know this is not how most leaders and nations roll. This is not their first thought. Their first thought is not always rooted in the care of others. What might happen if that were true? And it's not always how we roll personally in our own lives. It has taken me a very long time, for example, to let go of some injustices I have perceived, some injuries I have felt, and figure out a way to respond without making matters worse. Maybe even healing things. Maybe offering a cup of water in my own way. And I can see it in geopolitical matters, nationalistic responses, how in the midst of horror and rage, it is often impossible to see how a non-militaristic response can be more powerful than a volley of rockets, and yet it is. I wonder if that has to do with those who are making the decisions rarely being on the receiving end of their actions. And if they were, would they be thinking more about other options about how to do things? Is shock and awe always the answer? And if you really believe deeply in something, can you ever set it aside? How do you do that without losing something? How is that any form of glory? And still, it takes someone to start it or start it again. It's Jesus' teachings about love and peace that have started and restarted the inextinguishable pursuit of what it is we believe God has ordained for this world, even if we can't always quite understand why God doesn't just snap God's fingers and make everything right. And in Jesus' teachings, to follow this simple act of kindness of bringing someone a cup of water as an act that affirms and uplifts and glorifies, he used a reference from his time that everybody would understand. So some background context. He used salt. Everybody in the ancient world knew about salt. And if you take a look at the map that follows, you'll see the Dead Sea there. And that was, in fact, where the salt was collected from. They would scoop up water from the sea and they would dump it into these wells or other things and let it dry, and then they would collect the salt. And it is right there in the middle of everything. 21 miles from Jerusalem, south of the West Bank, and east of the Gaza. Salt was a necessity of life, and it was a mineral that was used as a seasoning, a preservative, and a disinfectant. It was used in ceremonies as a unit of exchange. In the Bible, because it was such a staple of life, it was often used metaphorically and could signify many things, including, and think of Jesus now talking to the disciples, be salty. It could signify many things, including permanence, loyalty, durability, flexibility, fidelity, usefulness, value, and purification. He wasn't talking about a spice. And often in the Bible, salt and light is combined, a light being the light of the world, where the faithful were called to carry the message as the light of the world and to distribute it in the same way salt was distributed everywhere. Be the light and the salt of the world. The reference of Mark in today's reading about salt losing its taste was a common situation. If minerals got mixed in with the salt, it would lose its efficacy, it would lose its taste, it would become blatant, ineffective, totally terrible in terms of doing what you hoped it might. Have we, in this world, blended together with too many things to make us seem ineffective, to make us seem as though we have no salt left in our souls? Well, Jesus didn't think so. The idea of keeping the message clear and unaffected has the deep roots in Hebrew theology. And Mark this morning says, have salt in yourselves and have peace with one another. And when he says that, it refers to the goodwill that salt also brought to the ancient world in its gifts and its purification. So when we allow saltiness, can we go to the next slide, please? When we allow our saltiness, wrong slide. Come on back up. No, I made some changes remotely and they didn't make it to the screen, so that's all right. When we allow our saltiness to be affected, our compassion and our kindness and our goodness to be corrupted, it's no longer salt. We become tasteless, baseless, ineffective, mongerers of water for people under siege or online waiting to give a vote. And instead of bringing forward actions that make things good, we do nothing for the good. You know, I really believe that God does not care who fills the cup, only that it's filled, and that there is a hand that extends that in whatever way we might, to those who are in need, to maybe start again the teachings in a different way. And to close with Mark's last verse, have salt in yourselves and live in peace with one another. Don't let anyone take that cup out of your hand for the ones that you are called to serve and to love. Amen. So, I would like to ask you all to stand, if you would. And as we do, we sing at times the church covenant that was written in 1976. And we sing it in a way that reflects not only our covenant, but the blessing and the willingness to extend our hand in whatever way is needed for those who seek us in a world where too many others are more interested in controlling things than in caring for others. Please join us in singing.
In response to God's love, we covenant with each other to be faithful to the demands and inspiration of the eternal Spirit, revealed in the event of Jesus Christ, to accept and respect each other with love and concern in our worship and witness, to reach out with the courage of our convictions in the cause of justice, liberation, and equality for all. In this we covenant to keep the ultimate promise: I care, I am with you.
Please be seated.
I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink. when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance, whatever stones life may sling. We can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed